Today's Walk with History is from Mount Rushmore, South Dakota.
Nest for the sparrow, bow for the arrow, to where do I
We're at the Mount
belong?
Rushmore National Park. When you first walk into the National Park, parking is going to be a concern, and then you can do a tour, which was going to take you more towards the bottom of the mountain. There's going to be books, but really, when you first walk up, it's one of the closest things when you first see it.
Ready home, fish in the water, boy with his father, to where do I belong?
Who sculpted this, also sculpted Stone Mountain in Georgia, and he had sculpted Stone Mountain in Georgia when he was commissioned to do this as well. So this is not his first time sculpting. He's asked to come out here because he has done other things. He sculpts this from 1927 to 1941. He has a large crew of people doing it with him. He makes a model. In the model, every inch on the model represents 1 foot on the actual mountain. He chooses this mountain. At first they want him to sculpt on the Needles Highway. He says it's too thin and those formations aren't going to withstand dynamite blasts. But he chooses this mountain in the Black Hills because of the lighting it gets. It faces the sun most of the day, and it's one of the highest mountains here, so he is the actual sculptor. When he's first commissioned to do this mountain, he is asked to do Sacagawea, Lewis and Clark, and Buffalo Bill Cody. But when he comes out here and he sees the area, he feels like those Western characters are not going to have the pull to bring visitors from all across America. So he recommends sculpting the presidents. And he recommends 4 presidents in particular: Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln, to represent growth, birth, preservation, and development. And he believes that they embody those 4 concepts of America that are the characteristics of the country, and that's why he chose those 4.
That I'm already home. Neighbor in his house feels.
So we were here last night for the lighting of the monument. They do it during the summertime at 9 o'clock. They'll light up the monument with lights. They show a very patriotic movie, which is very nice, and they honor veterans and active duty military. They honor active duty military here now. You don't have to pay for parking if you're active duty military, which is one of the bigger expenses here, even though it's free to come and visit.
In your eyes I realize that I'm already home.
Right before you get to the actual mountain, you have what they call the Avenue of Flags. And the Avenue of Flags are going to show the flags for the 50 states of America plus territories of America. But it gives you the date it became a state and the number state it was admitted into the Union.
My home is with you.
But this is the Black Hills of South Dakota. So what's significant about the Black Hills of South Dakota? The Treaty of Fort Laramie is what gives the Lakotas and the Sioux the Black Hills of South Dakota. Well, then gold is discovered here in the Black Hills, and so the federal government wants to take the Black Hills back, and they essentially do take the Black Hills back. And in 1980, the federal government actually paid the American Indian tribes for this land. It still sits in a bank account today because the American Indians refused to take the money for the land. They want the land. They want their land back. So technically, this is not federal land. Technically, this is still native land that we're on. So you do get a lot of back and forth conversation about what has been done to the mountain, but it is still a very important part of our history here in America, and preservation and travel. It is visited by so many people, like I said, every year. So this is called the Grand View Terrace. This is where you get the best view of Mount Rushmore. You're on a second story here. You can go down one more story to where the amphitheater is, but we'll walk close to it and I'll give you a little bit more history about it. So how did this come to be? There was a historian in South Dakota named Doane Robinson, and this is the Doane Mountain Pass, named after him. And he had the idea of bringing people here to South Dakota. He hires Borglum, who's a well-known sculptor. He did Stone Mountain in Georgia, which is controversial today, has not been destroyed. So he's a very good sculptor, and he's good with sculpting mountainous rock. And this rock in particular is soft until you can blast to the granite part of it where it's more hard. And that is exactly what he did when he built this. Rushmore was a lawyer who had come out here. He was surveying the land and getting the legalese for it all when they came to this mountain, and it didn't have a name. So they named it Mount Rushmore after that lawyer. So that's where it gets its name. It shows a lot of the tools that was used, the rigging that's used to suspend, to drill, to get the equipment up in there, to hold people. So as we leave Mount Rushmore, we're down here in the amphitheater. It was a great honor to be here. I like coming to things that really depict the American experiment. I think that is really what the sculptor was going for when he depicted these four men to be represented on this mountain. I hope you enjoyed it, and on to our next Walk with History.